enojado, cesado, medio con la ayuda, pues no ayuda, right? Pero vamos a seguir con una parte muy especial. Tenemos varios invitados. Today we have, is everybody getting English or español? Both? Ah, perfecto. Para practicar, listen. Okay, so with us today we have Diana Ortega, Director of Education and Community Engagement with the Edmonds Center for Arts. So es Diana Ortega, la Directora de Educación y Comunidad en el Centro de Artes de Edmonds. También tenemos a Rocio Castillo-Foell, Director of Community Engagement and Health Promotion with North Sound ACH. Es director de la como conexión con la comunidad, con North Sound ACH, no se puede traducir ese. Bueno, tenemos también Ivonne Radovich, que es el Senior Community Relations Coordinator with Coordinated Care. So, ella trabaja de coordinadora, gracias, de relaciones con la comunidad con Coordinated Care. Finalmente también tenemos el doctor Víctor Vergara, Assistant Superintendent of Equity and Student Success at the Edmonds School District. So, es asistente de superintendente de equidad y de estudiantes en el distrito escolar de Edmonds. So, tengo los bios que son muy largos, entonces para traducir, si no entiendan me avisan, pero sí son muy largos, okay? So we have Diana Ortega, who began music on the basin at the age of 12, and shortly after a year of playing music was accepted into the preparatory program at the Juilliard School. Diana holds a Bachelor of Music in Bassoon Performance from the New England Conservatory, focusing on music and education. She has trained in Dalcroze. Diana, how do you say it?
Eurythmics.
Eurythmics, thank you. I was like, today my brain went. So, from the Dalcroze Institute at the Juilliard School, and has fulfilled graduate work in bassoon performance from the Jacob School of Music at Indiana University. Diana returned to New York City in 2012 to pursue a career in music and education. Her extensive experience as an educator and a non-traditional arts intervention counselor steered her towards work towards social justice and arts for community health. Diana's professional pursuit of utilizing the arts to address urgent community health needs led her to pursue a master's degree in public administration through the prestigious National Urban Fellows Program. Diana's fellowship placement led her back to Indiana, where she served at the Municipal Corporation of Health and Hospital Corporation as a policy analyst for the president and CEO. As a National Urban Fellow, Diana focused on developing, implementing criminal justice reform policies, developing diversion models of care to address the opioid crisis, implementing housing revitalization initiatives, and developing arts intervention strategies in the area of mental health. In 2017, Diana was hired to further continue her work in arts and health, where she implemented her capstone dissertation, developed Medicaid waiver policy recommendations to the Family and Social Services Administration's Office of Medicaid Policy and Planning, programmed over 120 concerts per year, expanding arts access to 6 community clinics, and implemented the first public music therapy program in the city of Indianapolis, a program that served thousands of marginalized patients per year and continued to serve patients in person throughout COVID-19 lockdown. Diana's professional music-making career did not pause as a public servant at Health and Hospital Corporation. Diana co-founded and managed Rocky Bassoon in 2016, an electric rock bassoon cover band focusing on fundraising and civic engagement. Since then, Rock E Bassoon has been featured at the Indianapolis Colts Stadium, NPR, ABC, The Bob and Tom Show, Butler University, and multiple fundraising events supporting American Civil Liberties Union and hunger relief organizations. Today, Diana lives in Seattle, Washington, where she continues her work at Edmonds Center for the Arts, developing and implementing equitable arts community-based learning programs at the intersection of where health, wellness, social justice, and policy meet. Diana continues her passion for learning and building community. She has recently attained a certificate in finance, nonprofit organizational management from Cornell University, and currently serves on the board of the Latino Community Fund, serving on its strategic plan committee. Whew. That's the first. So welcome, Diana. Thank you. Okay. All right. Next, we have Dr. Victor Vergara. Victor Vergara is a PhD, is an assistant superintendent at the Edmonds School District in Linwood, Washington, supervising schools from the elementary school to high school level, and leading the Department of Equity and Student Success. He received his undergraduate degree in liberal arts and a master in education policy and administration, both from Portland State University in Oregon. In 2017, Dr. Vergara graduated with his doctoral degree in education leadership from Portland State University. Dr. Vergara's research focus includes primary and secondary bilingual education retention and preparation of minority educational leaders, and all aspects of equity, diversity, and inclusion for students. His career in education began as an elementary bilingual teacher in Portland and Woodburn, Oregon. He then became the assistant principal for Valor Middle School in Woodburn, Oregon. In 2007, he became the principal of Valor Middle School, one of the only secondary schools in the nation which offers content classes in Russian, Spanish, and English. In 2011, he became the principal of the Academy of International Studies at Woodburn High School. Prior to his current role, Dr. Vergara served as the Director of Bilingual Education and Latino-Latina Outreach at the Walla Walla High School District and the Director of Multilingual Education at the Federal Way School District. Due to Dr. Vergara's work, Valor Middle School was recognized in 2010 and 2011 for the Closing the Achievement Gap among minority and white students. Under his leadership in 2016, the Academy of International Studies was recognized as the high school that best serves English learners. Dr. Vergara was recognized as the 2012 Oregon Middle School Principal of the Year and the 2016 Latino Principal of the Year for the state of Oregon. He is a past board president of Oregon Association of Latino Administrators, and founder and immediate past president of Washington Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents. Thank you. Welcome. I'm telling you, we have some big bios here today. So, third we have Rocio Castillo-Foell. Is that how you pronounce it? Foell. Sorry, I was like, today my brain's not working. So, Rocio Castillo-Foell is a bilingual, bicultural public health professional passionate about health and racial equity and community engagement. She has almost 2 decades of working in nonprofit healthcare organizations in various roles that range from a general practitioner, health educator, community organizer, health program developer, and administrator throughout her career in Mexico, Canada, and the United States. Her professional education includes earning a medical practitioner degree from Metropolitan Autonomous University in Mexico City, and a master's in public health from the University of New England in the U.S. She's also a master certified health education specialist. In 2012, Bellingham became her home, where she continues her journey serving the communities living and working in the region as an advocate, community organizer, public health professional, and volunteer. She is the Director of Community Engagement and Health Promotion at North Sound Accountable Community of Health, President of the Board of Directors at the Bellingham Food Bank, and Community Equity Advisory Board member at the Snohomish Health Department. Thank you, welcome. Last but not least, we have Ivonne Radovich. who is the Senior Community Relations Coordinator for Coordinated Care of Washington Byzantine Corporation, a Fortune 500 company. With over 20 years of experience working in healthcare industry with focus on the importance of community engagement and public health. She was born and raised in northern Mexico. Ivonne is a bilingual and bicultural, skills she uses in her current role to promote outside-the-box thinking and to help members address many of the barriers that can block their access and quality of healthcare. Ivonne is inspired daily by her husband and daughter, and in her free time she enjoys cruising on a boat, chasing sunset, and watching her daughter play softball. As a Senior Community Relations Coordinator, Ivonne is always opening the door for the community to learn and obtain easier access to health services. We at LETI are very appreciative of all the support she is giving us, not only to help us navigate the complex world of health providers, but also as a speaker in many other programs like Bienestar, the Total, business classes for women with LETI Cafe, and in this LLI program as an evaluator for student projects. Ivonne is truly an agent of change. Do you want to pass all of the... Well, I welcome all of our speakers, sorry. So all of our presenters to the front, if you guys could take a seat with us, and that way we have a couple questions to talk a little bit about their leadership stories. Alrighty. I guess everybody pick. Which side are we starting from? This side or that side?
Los motivados.
Perfect. So that's going to start with Rocio. So our first question is, which habits, attitudes, or beliefs were the most important in the leadership roles you have?
Can you hear me? You prefer English or Spanish? Los dos? Prefieren los dos? Okay, I'm gonna try because Spanish is actually my first language. Yeah, just bear with me, okay? I think that the first thing that I would recommend is have self-discipline. I think it's important that you do the work yourself, like really identify what is your goal in life, what is your personal mission, and your personal mission is going to tell you like what are the next steps. So yo creo que lo primero que tienes que hacer es identificar contigo mismo qué quieres en la vida, cuál va a ser tu misión personal y realmente creértelo, ¿no? Y hacer el trabajo desde ti misma, desde tu propia perspectiva. So tienes que ser súper disciplinada. I think that that's super important for you. Also, one of my best advice that I'm going to give you, uno de los mejores consejos que te voy a dar es que time management is key. We are able to do a lot if we have control of our schedules. Tenemos que tener mucho cuidado cuando podemos hacer muchas cosas, pero tenemos que tener autonomía sobre nuestro tiempo y cómo lo manejamos. So, and it's also like another thing that I would definitely recommend to all of you is like put yourself out there. Even if you're fearful, even if you don't know what is next to you, like what's going to happen, what is the next chapter in your journey, just put yourself up there. Do it even with fear. Y lo siguiente que pueden hacer es pónganse a hacer lo que ustedes crean que es necesario, hagan conexiones, aunque tengan miedo, aunque no sepan lo que van a hacer, aunque tengan dudas, hay que hacerlo incluso con miedo. Especially when you're new, like me, I'm an immigrant, so my story is going to look probably very different to the people that grew up here. So mi historia va a ser muy diferente a aquellos que crecieron aquí. But one of the things I can seriously tell you is like, the power of networking is huge. El poder tener relaciones entre nosotros y poder conocer a gente es muy importante. So just to summarize, I'll say self-discipline, disciplina, que seas disciplinado tú mismo. Ensuring that you have personal mission, asegurarte que tengas una visión personal. Time management, asegurarte que tengas muy buen control de tu tiempo. And put yourself out there. Don't be afraid of networking. Y a salir, a crear nuestras conexiones sin miedo. So that would be my summary. So you want me to pass it? Yes, please.
Difícil de seguir lo que comentaste. Yo solamente voy a agregar saber sus boundaries, ¿no? Me parece que nosotros que trabajamos en la comunidad muchas veces es difícil porque nosotros empatizamos con la comunidad, ¿no? Y a veces la gente pues viene con nosotros y nos da todo lista de problemas o de cosas que tal vez necesitan ayuda. Para mí es bien importante el self-care, saber que primero tengo que estar yo bien para poder ayudar a la gente que voy a ayudar. Yo también agregaría ser un aliado, más que líder, yo me considero un aliado, tanto de la comunidad como de las organizaciones con las que trabajo. Quiero que la gente me vea como parte de la comunidad. A pesar de que mi apellido no suena latino, soy 100% mexicana, me pinto las canas, así que esto, soy bien orgullosa de mi acento, trato de que la gente sepa que no nos ubiquen o no nos encasillen por un estereotipo que tenemos o que tiene la gente de los latinos, así que siempre que tengo la oportunidad, I start talking like Sofia Vergara, and then, you know, so people know that I speak Spanish and that I'm bilingual in my culture, and I'm so proud of it. Porque si la gente tal vez no me ve y escucha mi nombre o me ve, digo, no me escucha, si la gente no me escucha y solamente me ve o ve mi nombre, no me ubica como latina. Entonces, para mí, ser un aliado de los latinos y ser un aliado en la comunidad, para mí es bien importante. Yo también escribí algunas palabras que para mí son importantes cuando suena como qué hábitos o actitudes, pues para mí era self-awareness, courage, respect, empathy. Y lo más importante es ser agradecida de la ventaja que tengo de estar en la posición en la que estoy, de no olvidarme de dónde vengo y de tener las metas a donde quiero llegar. So.
Hola, ok, entonces yo voy a hablar como Spanish. Bueno, para mí lo más importante es ser genuine, to be genuine. Y tener buenas comunicaciones, communicate really well, especially with communicate your expectations with others, with yourself. That's super important, and carving your own path, creando sus propias oportunidades. So when I was in Indiana, cuando yo estaba en Indiana, yo fui a un museo y había una pintura que era un bosque. Y había muchos árboles y había there was a path, había una calle que pintó, ¿cierto? Pero había una pareja que se veían contentos y estaban yendo hacia los árboles, right? They were creating their own opportunity, their own path, right? And just forging forward. And that's what I think is very important. Life gets really hard and difficult, and just staying focused on your mission and su misión and just forging through the forest, you know, and creating your opportunities for yourself. So,
Thank you. Buenos días. Good morning. I agree with. I was actually taking notes. And the idea of self-care, time management, self-discipline. You know, the thing about atreverse, right, and try. I think that's something that I can learn. When I came 25 years ago, I'm from Chile. I came 25 years ago with just dreams and aspirations. I didn't have any money, no English. I spent several nights in Portland sleeping on the street because I didn't have a place to stay. So believe it or not, that's how I started here. Como yo empecé, ¿verdad? But always thinking about my goals, mis metas, and mis aspirations. So at that point, my dream was to become a teacher. And then when I was a teacher and teaching, I realized that I was helping students and I was helping families. And then I was working with families Latinas. And it's how then I somehow I realized that I was making a difference. And it's how I decided, well, I'm going to throw my name in the hat, go to college, get my admin license, and maybe I can be a principal. Right? And then fui un director. Then I never thought I was going to be a high school principal. I threw my name in the hat, and then I became the high. So the idea of atreverse, and that I think is my life. I mean, and which means is that now always I get a yes, right? So he tenido muchas entrevistas donde he recibido un no, y muchas veces ni siquiera sé por qué no agarro trabajo. Y lo que primero pienso es que porque soy una persona de color, o porque tengo un acento, ¿verdad? Etcétera. Pero eso es la realidad, right? So the idea is to keep going, right? To keep trying. Also, I think we need to be proud of ourselves. When they invite me to speak, I usually start with sharing how proud I am that I'm a Latino. And I am. I mean, I don't want to. When I first came, I remember I was wanting to get rid of my accent. That was the first thing. Right? Quería sacar mi acento, but then little by little you start learning that why you want to do that. That will not be you. Right? So I think that's important. And also, I think I want to say being humble, modest, because I think it's important to remember where we come from, where we came from, and it's always important to do the work with others, to roll your sleeves with others, and to really give time to whoever wants to talk to you, and whoever. My passion is to guide others. That's why I'm the president of these Latino organizations, because cuando yo llegué no había nadie como yo que me iba a dar una oportunidad, abrir una puerta. So that's what I do in my free time. I want to open doors for others and give opportunity to others. So, yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, our next question is, what was the most important lesson you learned when becoming a leader? So, ¿cuál fue una de las cosas más importantes que aprendieron cuando se estaban, en su camino a ser líderes en la comunidad?
You want to start with me?
Yes. She's like,
All right. So take the question.
So, what was the most important lesson you learned when becoming a leader?
I think that the biggest lesson for me is to be willing to listen and listen carefully. Tienes que slow down, listen to people, don't be afraid. Hay que bajarle el ritmo, hay que tener un poquito más de tiempo para escuchar. Don't be afraid that people come and they're going to criticize you. Te van a criticar, no importa si lo haces bien, si lo haces mal. Así que ten valentía, believe in yourself, but also don't be afraid of listening to others, because maybe they are actually telling you something that you need to change. Tal vez te están diciendo algo que tienes que cambiar, and that's okay. And also surround yourself with people that inspire you, ¿no? Rodéate de gente que te inspira, que te apoya, que tiene tu espalda, que te va a estar ahí contigo, que cuando estés llorando, because you're gonna cry when you're a leader, you definitely. And let me tell you something, like when you are a leader, that doesn't necessarily is gonna be linked to the title that you have. Cuando eres un líder, no se va a relacionar automáticamente con el título que tú tienes. The leadership is just something that you're going to grow within yourself. Being a leader es algo que tú vas a crear contigo mismo. And don't be afraid of having friends, having your people that are gonna impulse you, they're gonna help you to continue. No tengas miedo, rodéense de gente que los inspira, que los apapacha, que los quiere, pero que también les va a decir a veces nuestras verdades cuando estamos fallando, and that's okay. Don't be afraid, don't shut that people down, don't say like, porque a veces nos queremos rodear solamente de gente que nos dice cosas bonitas, ¿cierto? Porque eso es lo que nos gusta. Pero a veces también es necesario que esa gente tenga la confianza para decirnos, oye, la regaste aquí, you fell here, maybe we can try something else. So, and just there is a book that I want to recommend. It's Women Who Run with Wolves, Mujeres que corren con lobos, de Clarissa Pinkola, and that she says in her book, we need to find our own tribe. Tenemos que buscar nuestra propia tribu. That means that, you rely on your family, and that's okay, that's great. But it's also important that you go out there and look for your own family, the people that support you and encourage you. La gente que te quiere, que te demuestra que está ahí, y que tienes que crearla, no necesariamente que va a ser tu propia familia. So, I'll stop there and I'll pass it on. Thank you.
You're picking on my notes. Because actually, and it's in bold, and it says, talk less and listen more. That's what you're doing. And it's definitely true. I mean, in my current role, I do presentations out to the community, in events and conference, and sometimes I lose track of, everything that I'm saying, and si empiezo a hablar en español, empiezo a contar la historia de cosas, ¿no? Y para mí es bien importante que la gente, o que yo escuche a la gente, ¿no? Que escuche sus problemas, que escuche las inquietudes que tienen, para entonces yo saber qué puedo yo hacer. De nuevo, yo me considero una aliada, no me considero un líder. Saber qué puedo yo hacer para resolver tal o cual problema que tengan. Eso para mí es bien importante, aprender de la gente a donde voy, aprender de las oportunidades que tengo, aprender de las personas a las que escucho y hablar menos. Porque me parece que cuando uno se rodea de gente que podemos aprender, no solo se enriquece uno, sino que también tengo más equipo para saber qué más puedo ayudar yo por la gente, por la comunidad. De nuevo, estoy en Community Engagement, siempre estoy buscando como oportunidades que yo pueda aportar para las organizaciones, para la comunidad. Para mí eso es bien importante, escuchar más y no hablar tanto.
Okay, I have the same notes as all of you. You too.
Great minds think alike.
So yeah, para mí lo más importante es tener amigos. Amigos que son buenas personas, que te van a apoyar, que te van a escuchar, y que te van a guiar. Muy importante, para mí eso es muy importante. Y más que todo, like, also listening, escuchándole a otras personas, listening to other people, and listening and trying to figure out, okay, how can I support those ideas, right? How can I support that? What resources do I have so that I can uplift that other person? You know, it doesn't matter what, it can be another leader in the community. It can be someone who's, you know, a family. It doesn't matter who it is. It's listening and saying, okay, what do I have that I can make your vision a reality, right? I think that's really important.
So, in terms of lessons learned, I think number one, never give up. So, nunca sentirse mal porque uno no agarra un trabajo, porque no le fue bien en algo. And I mean, we will, but the idea is to turn around and keep going. And I have learned that, again, many times that I have applied to jobs and I don't get a job. And I call and ask for feedback and they don't know what to tell me. And the first thing I think is because I'm a Latino, because I'm not ready for a Latino, because I'm not ready for a person that looks like me, right? So again, that's the reality. But you never give up, and you need to keep going. Also, I'm thinking about relationships. I think they're important also. Really getting to know people, and not just doing the work, but also getting to know people. Right now, in my role, I supervise principals y uso harto tiempo con ellos y con los directores y hablamos del trabajo, pero también hablamos de vidas personales, porque creo que es importante. Alguien dijo, ¿verdad?, la manera, cómo mantenerse nosotros saludables, ¿verdad? Y los directores, como ustedes saben, trabajan muchísimo, muchas horas. Entonces siempre estoy preguntando qué estás haciendo para cuidar de ti, tu familia, ¿verdad?, etcétera. So I think it's important to do that. And also, I think in our positions, being a role model, I think it's important to ser un modelo, porque if I show up late to a meeting, how do I expect my friends, my colleagues to come on time, right? So I always want to be the first. I remember talking with someone one time that shared with me that, and really especially again because I'm a person of color, so people are watching what I'm doing, right? So they están viendo cada día lo que estoy haciendo. We like it or not, that is the reality. So if the meeting is at 9, I will show up at 8:50, right? And one time one person said, you know, that's the reality of the United States. When we person of color, we always need to show others how to do this and how and work though, and it's true. So if the meeting is at 9, I will show up early. If the meeting is finished at 5, I'm going to be the last one to leave the meeting. If I see my white colleagues carrying one box, I might carry 2 boxes, right? So that's the reality. So, but being a role model, I think, is extremely important, especially for other people that look like us. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, touches on our next question, which is, were there any cultural imperatives that affected your role as a leader?
I actually was looking at my notes. I was in my notes. I was copying your notes. Estaba copiando las notas a la vecina. Estaba viendo las mías. Because I was actually on my way here. I listen to audiobooks. Me encanta escuchar los libros en audio. And I was listening to Julissa Arce. I don't know if you are familiar with Julissa Arce. Es una autora. Es excelente. And she has a book. Tiene un libro que se llama. Actually, I'm gonna look it up real quick. You Sound Like a White Girl. If you haven't had a chance to read the book, go for it. It's amazing. Es un libro buenísimo. Se llama, Suenas como una chica blanca. You Sound Like a White Girl by Julissa Arce. And when I was thinking about this question, I swear I was actually seeing my notes. Estaba viendo mis notas, lo juro que sí. We're loud. And sometimes, for me, that's been one of the issues that calladita te vas más bonita, ¿no? Tienes que obedecer y estar calladita, y especialmente como latina, you have to obey the rules and the principles of the majority. And we allow the whiteness of this culture to dictate how we're going to behave. So and I really want to reject that. Creo que nosotros tenemos que tener la capacidad de reconocer que nosotros pertenecemos y somos lo que somos y tenemos derecho a estar en esta tierra por muchas razones. Así que una de las cosas que yo puedo decir es que soy mexicana de nacimiento, entonces soy una persona loud, soy una persona gritona, y es algo que a veces me ha metido en problemas. But I'm not gonna take it away, ¿no? Entonces, ¿por qué tenemos que renunciar a ciertos principios, a ciertas partes de nuestra cultura? Al contrario, we have to embrace that. ¿No? Tenemos que seguir adelante demostrando que no tenemos que cambiar. Like, we belong here. We also pay taxes. We also wake up early. We also do the work that a lot of people might not willing to do. So, nosotros pertenecemos aquí. Y cuando te ves en la cara, en el espejo, feel proud of yourself and who you are. Así que eso es lo que diría. And I get always very emotional, so anyway, thank you.
Definitivamente, creértela, ¿verdad? Creértela que a donde vayas, o sea, tú puedes, y no tenemos la limitación de por ser latinos, que la gente no nos vea o que nos vea como una segunda clase, o sea, creértela donde sea que vayas. Para mí, una de las cosas que tengo, trabajo en marketing, uno de los challenges que yo tengo en mi compañía, bueno, no solo en mi compañía, en los lugares a donde voy, es de que, por ejemplo, entiendan que los inmigrantes y principalmente pues los latinos contamos la historia. O sea, para nosotros, estoy en unos task force de mi compañía, task forces, donde hacen como cuestionarios para saber cómo podemos mejorar alguna campaña, algún brochure, algún flyer, ¿no? Y yo siempre estoy peleando porque digo, 15 minutos de cita con el doctor para un latino, es como que no. O sea, yo no puedo ir al doctor, mi mamá tiene 75 años, se quebró la rodilla. Mi mamá va y cuenta desde que salió de la casa, cómo iba caminando el perro, cómo se cayó. O sea, mi mamá no tiene 15 minutos para platicar, me quebré la rodilla, me duele, deme algo. Para mí es eso, es que entienda, por ejemplo, que en mercadotecnia un flyer en inglés no lo podemos traducir literal en español porque no tiene el mismo significado, no se va a captar de la misma manera porque nosotros contamos una historia, ¿no? Para mí es más visual y es algo que yo estoy peleando bastante en mi compañía para que la gente entienda que no me escriban tantas cosas en un flyer, tener una foto donde diga algo, ¿no? Porque sí, porque somos muy emocionales, yo también escucho una canción y lloro, o sea, para mí ver algo escrito con muchas palabras no tiene el mismo significado que si veo una foto donde signifique algo para mí, donde tengo un mensaje. So, para mí una de las barreras o de las cosas que es un challenge en compañía, mi trabajo desde siempre, es que la gente sepa que nosotros entendemos, los latinos entendemos el mensaje diferente a como se entiende en inglés. Eso para mí es tal vez eso, a lo que yo puedo aportar.
Enfocarte en su misión personal, like your personal mission in life, and just stay focused and have that be your driver. And then from there, you know, you can definitely be effective.
You know, when I think about cultural imperatives, I mean, pienso esto acerca de mí como persona, pero también acerca de los estudiantes que servimos. So we have 20,000 students, 56% of them are diverse, from diverse background. They speak about 129 languages. When you look at the state numbers, this is the first time that the students of color are the majority, okay, in the whole state. So we have 1 million students, so more than 500,000 are students of color. So those numbers are important. Why? Because when we think about cultural imperatives, the idea of the expectation that we need to adapt to the white culture, right? So let's talk about schools. The schools were created for white kids, right? So, and that is always the issue. That siempre es el problema. Que queremos que cada persona que viene tiene que adaptarse a la cultura de aquí de Estados Unidos. And many times it's a big problem. Because as I talk with people daily, I mean, we are serving people from 129 different places. Countries that you don't even know that they exist. And right away, the idea is you're gonna go to the schools, you're gonna take these classes, and many times we don't even have the support for the English language piece. So it's a problem. And our job is to break that cycle. Our job is to really do our best to offer the best education for our kids. And this is connected to the previous question about becoming a leader. I think that the idea of action. A lot of people right now in the education world, they talk about equity, they talk about equidad, y que hagámoslo para todos, pero mucho que hablan y nada que hacen. Right? So the idea of acting and the idea of doing is important. Hace 15 años atrás yo era un maestro, estamos hablando de lo mismo. ¿Verdad? So, si gente no se atreve con poder, con el de que están liderando los distritos, no se va a poder. So I always think about that, the idea of myself, right, everyone, right? So I went to college, I got my PhD, and I was the only Latino in college. And I had to adapt, because otherwise I was not going to be able to graduate. And I was the only person of color in that cohort. I remember a couple classes, they were tough in my second language. One of the classes, the professor was recording the classes, so I used to go home and watch the video 3, 4, 5 times. Because I couldn't understand what he was explaining. But guess what? After 60 people applied, 25 people got in, and only 3 of us graduated. Right? So again, I had to show people that I was able to do this. And nobody was wanting to work with me. And you know, con modestia, ¿verdad? So I wish it's a different story. But con modestia digo que tiene que ser más, ¿verdad? So por eso la idea otra vez de abrir puertas, pero going to this, back to this cultural imperative, it is so important that we need to meet people halfway, right? We cannot just wait for them to adapt to us. I always talk about, tenemos como más de 3,000 estudiantes que son considerados que están aprendiendo inglés. Y the other day we did this training and we talk about that, porque yo no sé la lengua no significa que no sé el contenido o que no tengo el conocimiento. And many times they are in our system, they make that wrong connection. And that is wrong. Then we're asking why we don't have students that they're learning English in advanced classes, because we're not giving them the chance. That's why. Because we're not ready to do that. Because those advanced classes are designed for kids that they know English. But what about the kid that comes from Mexico, from Chile, that is smart and is at grade level? Well, we put them right away down because you don't know the language, right? So the idea of adapting some, I'm hoping it'll change, right? But it's hard. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next question is, from your point of view, what is the most significant issue, in this case not your school system, but in the school system that you feel that we are facing now?
So I actually have my notes here, tengo mis notas aquí, because I don't work directly with the students, I don't work with the school system, no trabajo directamente con estudiantes o con el sistema escolar. So I'm going to give you my perspective as a mother. Les voy a dar mi perspectiva como mamá latina. I have 2 children, tengo 2 niños, una niña y un niño. My son is 12, my daughter is 6. And I think that, first of all, we need to invest in the future generations. Necesitamos invertir en las generaciones futuras. So I think that after the pandemic, like children were isolated. All of us also didn't learn. We didn't have the chance to socialize with each other. Durante la pandemia los niños estuvieron muy aislados sin la oportunidad de realmente desarrollar amistades. So I think that right now we have to slow down and come back and kind of retrain ourselves to how to connect with each other. Tenemos que bajarle el ritmo a nuestras vidas y poder tener una oportunidad de poder hablar con nuestros hijos o con la gente joven and learn from them, listen to them. They have a lot of the answers. We don't. So we really need to be mindful of like listening to their needs. Necesitamos escucharlos. What's going on with them? What's going on at school? And I know that sometimes we as immigrants, I'm going to speak by myself, as an immigrant, I have a lot of stuff happening in my life constantly. And sometimes I really need to force myself, like, hey, my children are first. A veces nosotros como inmigrantes tenemos múltiples cosas que tenemos que hacer y a veces pues no tenemos el tiempo como quisiéramos de pasarlo con nuestros hijos. Pero yo creo que es importante que tengamos ese tiempo con ellos en todo momento, que los escuchemos. And at the school system, at the school level, I think it's very, very important that children have access to resources, especially if they are from the minority groups, like counseling sessions. They also have to have access to music, to mentors. And but one of the things I would love to change in the school system, una de las cosas que me encantaría cambiar en el sistema escolar es access to healthy meals for everyone. Comidas llenas de nutrientes, ¿no? Para todos, regardless of your economic status or your financial capacity, para todos. Because if you are not able to be fed with a nutritious meal, you simply don't have the capacity to concentrate, no tienes la capacidad de concentrarte para realmente avanzar y darte cuenta de las cosas que tú necesitas. So again, my perspective is as a mother, because I don't really work directly with the school system, so that's it.
I'm eager to hear what Dr. Vergara has to say, because you're the expert, with school system. Just like Rocio said, as a mother, I would say the parents' involvement. Sometimes when I go to the meetings at my daughter's school, she's 12, está en middle school y no veo tantos latinos en las pláticas de padres. Y a veces siento como que estos comentarios así como que los latinos, no tenemos tiempo o por ser en inglés tal vez no vamos. Cuando muy seguido doy comentarios, a veces en las notas al final de la plática, es de que the parents' conference are usually at the time the Latinos are working. So, por eso tal vez no vamos, ¿no? Entonces, para mí es tal vez que las escuelas dieran un poquito más de oportunidades de conectar con las familias latinas o con las familias inmigrantes, que puedan tener el tiempo de asistir a las clases o que las pláticas sean también en español, en el lenguaje que se puede, que las familias se sientan más confortables o más unidas también en compartir, porque a veces los temas que se toman en las pláticas que voy, por ejemplo de la middle school de mi hija, también son en un nivel que no es tan fácil de entender para muchas familias latinas. Entonces me parece que si las escuelas pudieran comunicarse efectivamente más con los papás y que sean unos horarios donde las familias pudieran asistir, sería como que más efectivo. Para mí sería como que las escuelas tuvieran un poquito más de ayuda para que los papás se incluyeran más y no nada más vernos como que somos los que no asistimos o no vamos porque no nos interesa la educación de los hijos. Sí nos interesa, solamente que en mi opinión opinión, muchas veces no es tan fácil el acceso a asistir a reuniones de padres, ¿no? So, esa es mi opinión como mamá.
Okay. So en el centro de actos de Edmonds, nosotros sí trabajamos con diferentes estudiantes, con niños, con adultos, con estudiantes que ya están en la tercera edad. Y el problema más grande que nosotros hemos visto son problemas con el mental health, depresión, loss of hope, right? That's a big one, loss of hope, and wanting to escape, right? So what my team and I have been really focusing on is bringing the arts to students with counseling services attached to it, so like music therapy and teaching artists that really focus on the mental health portion of it. And the biggest barrier with that, in addition to that, would be transportation, right? Transportation for students in the district to come to us, and also for us to come to them. It's spacing, right? Spaces in the schools that are available for us to bring arts intervention services. So that has been, from my point of view, some of the most significant school system issues as we're trying to use the arts to support and help with some of the mental health issues that we're seeing.
¿Cuánto tiempo tengo para responder esta pregunta? You know, I mean, the question, I mean, what is the most significant issues? We have few. I mean, we, just to mention some, safety is number one. We're always, every day, worried about the safety of our students, our staff, our community. Mental health is always an issue, especially we're seeing higher and more issues with the pandemic. Starting with the pandemic, we lost 6 students right at the beginning of the pandemic, and for different reasons, but 6 students. Graduation rates is always also a concern for us. Right now we're in about 83%, so to me it's only 83%, right? So we have 17% of students that are not graduating. And with that connected to the academic achievement. And also I'm always worried about access, so you talk about transportation, access and inclusion for all students. So otra vez siempre estamos hablando, ¿verdad?, de que tenemos que incluir a todos los estudiantes, que los estudiantes tienen que tener una oportunidad, pero muchas veces no pasa. Un ejemplo, Name High School es la escuela que está más lejos, ¿verdad?, y no tenemos transporte público para que los estudiantes puedan quedarse después de la escuela. Y es algo que el distrito ha batallado por muchos años. Felizmente, ojalá que en un par de años más ya lo podamos tener, pero mientras tanto, ¿qué? ¿Verdad? Hay estudiantes que no tienen la posibilidad de quedarse después de la escuela y ser parte de actividades porque no tienen cómo llegar a casa. Y nosotros no tenemos el financiamiento para poder poner otros camiones después de la escuela. But I think when you think about all that, I think, at least for me, the big umbrella is the relationships. So, and I'm looking at this as an issue because I believe that we are lacking of building relationships, adults with kids, for different reasons. I mean, I think this again goes back to we're wanting students and families to adapt to this culture. Right, you were talking about meetings, right? So what's the culture? That we have meetings at this time, right, once a month. If nobody comes, people, Latinos are not showing up, then maybe they're not interested, right? That's the belief. So the relationships, I mean, and again, sometimes it's because of language, sometimes it's because of culture. Tenemos algunas escuelas donde tenemos una alta números de niños latinos, latinas y adultos, quizás hay uno que habla español en toda la escuela. Esa es la realidad, ¿verdad? So, and that is part of the work, right? So, eso es lo que tenemos que seguir trabajando para seguir atrayendo gente que habla otros idiomas, ¿verdad? Gente que se mira como nuestros estudiantes y porque tenemos que cambiar eso. I mean, some people are just not willing or they're not ready to build a relationship with kids. And I think that's really extremely important, especially now. I mean, I was talking with the principal the other day about this. If you know the kid by name, if you spend time with the kid's gonna love you. And the kid's gonna do whatever you ask them. But if you wanna be autoritario and retarlo, it's not gonna happen. That's not the way, right? Cuando yo era chico, así mi mamá me retaba, ¿verdad? But we're not in the 70s or 80s anymore. This is a different generation and we need to adapt, right? So going back to that. So, but again, we have several things and several areas that we're always worrying, thinking every single day, and hopefully we keep talking and acting and coming up with plans, because again, when we talk about all students, all means all, and really the idea of acting and doing something. So, thank you.
Para los papás, acuérdate que tú no puedes dar lo que no tienes. You cannot give what you don't have as a parent. So you need to take care of yourself. Tienes que cuidarte a ti mismo. And then make time for learning with your children. Especially if this is like me. I'm an immigrant. I have no idea how the school system works. So sometimes I have to learn. And I have to slow down and I have to ask questions. Entonces necesito preguntar a mi propio hijo, a ver, ¿cómo se le hace esto? A ver, espérate, no lo entiendo. So, and I have to be quiet and I have to learn from him, because I don't know how to navigate a system that it wasn't familiar to me, because I grew up in another country. For the children, for los estudiantes, para los hijos, be patient. If you're second generation, have compassion for your parents, because they have no idea. Probably you don't have any idea how, the multiple challenges that needed to go through to get to this country. So have compassion and also be willing to teach them. I know that it's not your fault and it's difficult. I totally get it. But have some compassion and also have some respect for them, because they're putting themselves in a position that can actually open opportunities for you, opportunities that perhaps they never ever had in their lives. And for the community and for all of us as Latinos, para nosotros como comunidad latina, abre las puertas a otro latino. You also are going to become an ally. Sea un aliado, abre las puertas a otro latino, enséñale, tómalo de la mano, ¿no? We are a community, let's act like that. Entonces, conoces a alguien y no sabe, tienes un trabajo pero no tienes todas las calificaciones, todos los requerimientos, do something, teach that person, because we are like a chain, uno como una cadena, uno empujamos al otro. Y somos la más grande minoría de este país, y vamos a 2050, 2050 vamos a ser mucho más gente latina que la comunidad blanca. Entonces, si nosotros no invertimos tiempo y el conocimiento por nuestra cultura, entonces vamos a estar preparados para lo que viene nosotros en el futuro. So, we're a community, let's act like a community. That's it.
My message to parents sería, no esperen a que la escuela nos resuelva los problemas, que nos organicemos como papás. Si tal vez la escuela no tiene alguien que hable nuestro idioma, pues entre nosotros buscar quién puede ser el voluntario, quién puede ir a interpretar el mensaje que se esté dando, y tener tiempo, ¿no? Darnos el tiempo para estar presentes en la vida escolar de los hijos. La educación no solamente es de la escuela, también es en partnership con las familias. Para los estudiantes, don't settle just for the first opportunity that you have, and if you don't have the opportunities, see what else is there. Muchas veces enseñamos a los hijos a trabajar hard, y trabajar, y no pensar en una meta a futuro. Para mí, por ejemplo, sería tener oportunidades de, si la gente no puede pagar por la universidad, ver quién puede otorgar una beca, asistir a organizaciones como LETI, donde se les da ayuda a los estudiantes, buscar quién puede ayudar a nuestros hijos, o como estudiantes, buscar quién puede ayudarnos a tener un mejor futuro en nuestras carreras y avanzar, ¿no? A la comunidad, ver que otras organizaciones están trabajando por nosotros, ¿no? En el rol que yo tengo, eso es parte de lo que yo hago. Yo conecto a organizaciones con fondos para actividades. Entonces, ver quién está haciendo el trabajo, la conexión es súper importante, saber quién está haciendo qué. Y definitivamente como organizaciones que trabajamos con la comunidad latina, como la comunidad migrante, es empezar a hacer un network. De nuevo, saber, enfocarnos en saber quién está haciendo qué, dónde puedo buscar tal o cual ayuda, si es mental health, si es transportation, a lo mejor ya está una organización que está aportando esos tipos de beneficios. La unión definitivamente es súper importante, la unión entre organizaciones. Para mí sería ese mensaje.
Okay, to mitigate current dropout rates. So, what I would say is to build solutions to long-term problems and not the other way around. So, to focus on la solución to focus on the solutions to long-term problems and not focus on the solutions to current issues, right? Because if you drop out because life is stressful, because of other things, that's actually going to hurt you in the long run. So focus on the end goal and just push through.
So I don't know if you guys know what the dropout rates are right now, but they went up last year. So they went up from 7.4% of the students not finishing high school to 9.4%. So 2% percentiles up. So casi el 10%, ¿verdad? De estudiantes que no se graduaron el año pasado. That's huge. I mean, we're talking about 300 kids maybe. And out of those 300 kids, 200 they were still qualified as multilingual learners, so they're still learning English. So my question there is why? Right? Why, number one, why are they still learning English? And why, what are we doing about it? Right? So that's the conversation that we're having right now, because that is unacceptable. I mean, that kid could be my kid, my son, my daughter, your son. So connected to the parents, I think I think that the idea of you and tell your neighbors and whoever has kids in the system that they need to go to schools and ask questions. Necesitan venir y preguntar. Before I say, right, dije que había una persona que hablaba español en esta escuela, pero no significa que no tenemos la manera de ayudarlos. Sí tenemos la manera. Nosotros contratamos compañías que tienen intérpretes, tenemos en las oficinas un sistema que ellos pueden darse cuenta qué idioma hablan, ¿verdad? Y luego van a hacer un proceso. Eso sí tenemos cómo, pero no, para los papás no tener miedo a hacer preguntas. Si los papás no saben el sistema, igual pueden venir a la escuela, igual podemos hablar, porque educación es educación. Los grados pueden ser distintos, las materias que enseñamos son distintas, pero al final es el mismo objetivo, ¿verdad? So, and I always talk also with kids, especially high school, to look for mentors, people that they can work with them. I think it's important. Right now I'm mentoring 3 students that I go and see them once a month, and we have conversations, right, about how they're doing, how is everything at home, what do you need, right? So eso creo que es importante que los niños tengan su mentor. Para la comunidad también, I think la comunidad piece, I connected with the board, so we have una mesa directiva, ¿verdad? Que ellos son los que deciden qué hacer con la educación. So we have 5 members, all of them are white. So a la comunidad le pediría que ya es hora que alguna persona de color, vaya y luche por ser parte de la mesa directiva. En diciembre vamos a tener 3 posiciones abiertas y me gustaría muchísimo que alguna persona latina o latino, ¿verdad?, pudiera correr por esa posición, porque es importante. As we keep talking about our diversity with the students, wanting to diversify our workforce, la mesa directiva también tendría que ser, ¿verdad?, diversa. So, but we do have issues with dropout rates, and we're talking, and I usually say we, but I'm going to say I'm pushing the conversation pretty hard, because again, it's unacceptable that we have almost 10% of dropout rates. So, thank you.